You already know what it is. First take on a Feel Good Friday. Folks, thanks so much for hanging with us. Max Kellerman, Darren Woodson in the house. Stephen A. is in NYC. Darren, nice choice of attire today.
Oh, you like
colors.
that?
That wasn't intentional or anything.
Colors. These are the Cowboys colors? I didn't know for sure if this was, appropriate for the show today. But
yeah. Stephen A., are you in Cowboys colors too? Oh, I think you are.
Hey, man.
What's up? That's a Giants blue.
Oh, Giants blue. Yeah, sorry.
So is this, I hope.
No, it's not. You're off.
What's up? What's up?
All right.
Why don't you fix your tie, Darren? Why don't you fix your tie, man?
Is it all?
Your tie's crooked. Why don't you fix it?
That's all right.
Just a teeny bit.
Yeah, it's not going to be perfect. Like the Cowboys win yesterday. It wasn't perfect.
Hey, Darren.
Yeah.
How about them Cowboys? Coming up, we're going to pick the big matchup in Pittsburgh between the Giants and Steelers. Plaxico Burress will help us break down this battle of former teams. We're looking forward to that. But about last night. It was a defensive battle in Minnesota, but Dallas pulled off a tough road win, beating the Vikings 17-15, improving to 11-1 on the season, 6-0 on the road. So the Cowboys did have a couple of controversial calls go in their favor, including a potential game-time 2-point conversion at the end when the refs neglected to call a penalty when Sam Bradford had his face mask hit by Cedric Thornton on the pass attempt. No penalty was called on Thornton for hitting Bradford in the head. Here he is after the game.
Sam, on a 2-point, did you think you were going to get a call there with the shot to the face mask?
I was hoping to, but it didn't happen, so that's how it goes. He told me that I did not get hit in the face mask. So.
Stephen A., let's be real. Did the Cowboys get lucky last night?
Yes, they did. They were very lucky. And I can prove it. I can prove it unequivocally. The Dallas Cowboys were lucky yesterday because they went up against the Minnesota Vikings. They went up with a team with no offense to speak of, no real running game to speak of, no real passing game to speak of, no real quarterback to fear, no real offensive line to fear against their suspect defense. So I would consider them to be very lucky, considering the fact that we're in week 12 of the NFL season, just 5 games to go at that particular moment in time. And the Dallas Cowboys walked in there knowing who they were going up against. They were going up against a team that easily, they knew they could score less than 20 points and still win the damn football game because that offense in Minnesota wasn't going to do much because Adrian Peterson was on the sideline, the Stephon Diggs of the world wasn't healthy, the Kyle Rudolphs of the world dropping touchdown passes. Okay, the offensive line, devoid of the 5 quality starters, were incapable of protecting Sam Bradford, and Sam Bradford doesn't have the cachet to get the kind of call on a face mask penalty that was clearly obvious but still didn't get called. Why? Because he's Sam Bradford. That's why. This is who the Dallas Cowboys were going against. This is what they had to deal with. They lucked up with the opponent that they had, and that's why they ended up victorious. It's obvious to me.
They're not lucky. I mean, look, they have played a pretty soft schedule, if we're honest. They haven't played a lot of playoff teams. One of the playoff teams, in other words, if the season ended today, who'd be in the playoffs? One of the playoff teams they lost to, in fact, the one with the best record, the Giants, beat them. But they have the best point differential in the NFL. Now, did they get lucky at the end of that game? Yeah, that was a face mask. Mm-hmm. Of course, if there's a false start,
absolutely,
right, that negates that. But so as Branch Rickey, he's the guy, the GM, who integrated Major League Baseball by championing Jackie Robinson's inclusion in the game. Branch Rickey used to say, luck is the residue of design. And the thing about the Cowboys is, yeah, they got lucky at the end in that sense. Of course, that's after the false start.
Yes.
That would only give them another shot to try to pick up the 2-point conversion. It's not guaranteed. And even then, the game would be tied. And in a tied game between two teams, one is better, the better team should win. And that's still the Cowboys. So even with all that, they probably still win the game. But the point is, to be in the position to benefit from a lucky call, you have to be good. They've been really good all year. In fact, if we're honest, from beginning to end, they've been the best team in football all year. When you look at the totality of the year, which is why their point differential, Stephen A. Smith, is the best in the game, 9 points above the Patriots.
Amen, Max. Amen, brother. Yeah, go ahead and spit that out. Luck is not a part of this. I mean, if you look at this schedule, how many games have they won straight? Is it 10, 11 games straight?
11 now.
11 straight games. Bill Parcells, the great Bill Parcells, coached me in Dallas, and he used to always say there were going to be 2 to 3 plays that are going to determine the outcome of the game. There were 2 plays yesterday that basically determined the outcome of that game for the Dallas Cowboys. the 4 pump by Dez Bryant that Harrison Smith sat on, which was a big play, and then the fumble recovery that they had on the special teams. Those were the 2 big plays that determined the outcome of this game. The Cowboys did not play a perfect game. They looked.
No, they were 1 for 9 on third down.
The Minnesota Vikings made them look pedestrian for 3.5 quarters on offense.
They do that on defense in Minnesota, man.
Exactly.
That's what they do.
That's what they do. And the Cowboys still found a way. It's not about luck. I mean, there were opportunities that the Minnesota Vikings had to capitalize in that game. They didn't capitalize. Now, if it was the Patriots, if it was the Seattle Seahawks, the outcome may have been differently. But they had the Minnesota Vikings, who, by the way, were on their schedule before the season started. The Minnesota Vikings were on the schedule. They're just playing the teams that they were supposed to play week in and week out, and they found a way to win the game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Stephen A., for you, like the luck, I totally agree with that. All the other stuff cancels out. Who has a better offensive line? Who has a better secondary? Who's coached this way? What about that play? Da-da-da. And it comes down to, like, turnover differential. I mean, that's what the NFL is. But in order to be there for one of those lucky whistles to affect you, you got to be good. You got to be at least as good as the other team.
Game. You got to put yourself.
That's what the Cowboys have been doing all year, and they've been doing it better than anybody else. This is not the Raiders, where they have a great quarterback, a little bit of luck, and late fourth quarter comebacks to win all these games close. That's not one of those teams. This is a team that is fundamentally, I hate to say it, Stephen A., fundamentally been better than the rest of the league all year. I mean, what can I tell you?
First of all, I'm tired of your phony, fraudulent self telling me how much you hate to say something you repeatedly say with a smile on your face and evident glee. Stop lying to the American public, Max Kellerman. I don't want to hear your mouth right now. I don't want to hear your mouth right now at all. You're lying. You're having a good time, rubbing it in, because as much as you hate the Cowboys, you love sticking it at me. I know what you're doing, Max. You're having a ball. Stop talking. I'm lying to the American public. And you got Mollywood to your right, sitting up there going like, yeah, he's right, you know, because she's sitting there and enjoying it too. Both of you are better than
I'm going to send you
one of y'all. I want to hear it.
I am going to send you a Valentine's Day card this year because I love you for taking the sting out of this Cowboys season for me. Knowing that your suffering does make it better for me.
You really mean that too, and that's the sad part, because you really mean it. So just stop lying to the American public about how much you hate saying it, because you're getting joy out of it. Darren Woods and all, I ain't seen him in weeks because he probably doubted that Dallas was going to be in this position. And here he is with his Homer self acting like, I expected this all along. But here's the bottom line, okay? The bottom line is this. You look at the Cowboys right now, of course it was luck, because guess what? They should have lost that game to the Vikings yesterday. They should have lost that game to an inferior team because they have no offense without Adrian Peterson. That is the reality of the situation with that offensive line, and without Adrian Peterson, it shouldn't have even been that damn close.
Can I ask you something? Can I ask you something, Stephen A? Or Dan, let me ask you.
Locked up.
Was it luck when deep in their own territory, I think it was 3rd and 11 or 3rd and 13, Dak Prescott spins out and picks up the first down with his legs, which is something he's been doing with his arm and with his vision and with his brain all year. He's the real deal.
They're not making mistakes. I mean, as a whole, they didn't play that well yesterday offensively, but they're not making mistakes. And let's be real here. The Cowboys have a ton of weaknesses on defense. They don't have a number one pass rusher. They're not an elite team that gets to the pass rush. They don't turn the ball over. They don't force turnovers in that sense. And their depth in the secondary is minuscule right now without Mo Claiborne. They're finding ways to win games. And when you rattle off 11 straight games or whatever it is, it shows you that this team is fundamentally sound.
Let's talk about their Achilles heel. Let's focus on some of the bad stuff. Oh, please let this undo them. To my eyes,
absolutely,
it looks to me like really the issue is secondary been playing pretty well, I think. Over their heads maybe, but pretty well. They can't get any pressure with that front four.
That's it.
To me, that's the Achilles heel. What's the worst matchup for them in that case?
It's got to be Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks.
That's what I'm thinking.
But listen, the Seattle Seahawks have their own warts as well. Their offensive line is up and down. You never know what you're going to get. We just saw them against Tampa Bay, just lose themselves in that game. So there's no one. I honestly sit there and look at the Washington Redskins are the team that I would fear the most coming back into Dallas. If it was a wild card game, first playoff game, the Cowboys had to play because the Redskins have the weaponry on the outside to where the Cowboys cannot match up. And we just saw what Cousins did, 459 yards in the air. I think those are the
That was
teams.
because they couldn't get pressure on him,
They
right?
couldn't get pressure
all
on,
day.
and then the Cowboys play a matchup one-on-one, and they don't match up well with the Redskins' skill positions. I think if you're looking at the New York Giants, the Giants are a team. Here we go now. The Giants are not a team that's going to scare the Dallas Cowboys.
They did lose to them, though.
No, they did. They don't scare them.
May I speak? May I speak?
Sure.
Can I stop this love affair for a moment? Just this love affair, this love fest, this love affair. You know, there was a time in the past when the Dallas Cowboys were 11-1 before Darren Woodson. A matter of fact, they went 12-1 before losing to the Philadelphia Eagles in the regular season. Do you know that was the same year that Tony Romo came out, passed for about 200 yards, Marion Barber rushed for about 129 yards, and the Giants still rolled into Cowboy Stadium and beat the Dallas Cowboys
Big Blue
in the playoffs.
Oh, sorry. Who said that?
So what I'm trying to say to you is this. I hear all of y'all talking right now, but I contend that Dallas was lucky yesterday because they went up against Minnesota. That's why they were lucky, because they had Minnesota on their schedule. But here's the deal. In the end, keep talking, keep bloviating, keep acting like this is a foregone conclusion that Dallas is destined for Super Bowl prominence. We shall see. They have been here before, but they have lost. And I see no reason why I should have believed differently now.
Stephen, I got one question
What
for
do
you
you
on
want?
this.
What do you want?
You've taken a lot of shots at Tony Romo. I think you underestimate him, but okay. I'm glad that they've never won, and they've won very few
Playoff Tony
playoff games.
Romo.
Right.
Not regular
Let me
season.
ask you this, and I say this
Go
with
ahead.
trepidation as a Giants fan. When you watch Dak Prescott, how do you feel? You just get a sense of a guy. How do you feel he'll do under pressure
Tell
in
the
the
truth.
playoffs?
Tell the truth.
I think Dak Prescott will do very well. I
too.
got nothing but love and
So do I.
respect. Hold up. I have nothing but love and respect for Dak and Zeke. Here's the issue. The Dallas Cowboys, being the accident waiting to happen that they are.
go.
Let me
Here we
be
go.
clear. Let me be clear. Something could happen. I mean, first of all, I keep trying to ask, hey, Darren Woodson, are you sure all your players are going to be eligible? Are you sure? Are you
I
sure
wanna say something
that they're
about
going
that.
to Are you sure? Are you sure that they're going to show up? That they're going to be allowed to
Stephen
play
A.
come playoff time? That they're going to be eligible? What's up, Max? Are
Stephen
you
A,
sure?
I want to
Max?
say
Are you
something about
sure?
Dak. I just
You
want to point
sure?
something else out. This
Sure,
is very
sure.
anti-Cowboys, what we've come to expect. Not only is Dak this amazing player on the field this year, highest QBR, all this, winning his team and making all these big plays and giving you a sense he'll be a pressure performer. Is he ever in trouble off the field? Is he?
No.
Wait a minute.
I know where he's going.
That's
I know
not
where
what
he's
I'm
going.
talking
It's
about,
Not only
Max.
that, not only that, is he?
No.
Not only is he not in trouble, but the kind of things he gets pressed for is throwing garbage away, and then when asked about it, saying, "Why is this a big deal? Shouldn't everyone
see,
throw their garbage
he's the
away?"
leader of this
You
team.
see, you just listen.
I'm just saying-
took it someplace else.
Yes,
Hold on, wait a
this
minute.
is
Hold
a
on.
different
So,
Cowboys team than the quarterback.
Wait. Has Tony Romo ever been in trouble?
No.
Obviously, I'm not talking. I mean, you didn't have to go there. I'm clearly not talking about Dak. Dak. I'm not talking about Zeke. I said accident waiting to happen. In other words, the dudes who customarily find themselves in trouble or customarily finds themselves getting injured, Dak's going to be on the field. Zeke is going to be on the field. Daz is going to be on the field. But Darren Woodson, something will happen
Oh, here
because
we
it
go.
always does.
it just-
That's
you know what?
what I'm saying.
Look,
That's all. I'm
You know
not
what's
talking about
good to be?
that.
It's good.
I'm not talking about
It's
Zeke.
a good time of
I'm
the
not
year,
talking
though.
about
I
that.
mean,
It is.
it's a great year, but simply because we're starting to see the Cowboys be relevant again.
No question.
And the haters are coming out.
Yeah.
And
I will
that's the
concede.
time. If you're not
I will
being
concede.
hated at this time of the year, then you're not doing anything. The Cowboys
Well, first of all,
absolutely
I have
relevant.
not come out. I've been out for
You've
years.
been hating
I
forever.
never liked. I
You're
was
right
out
about that.
last year. Hold
You're
on, wait a
consistent.
minute. When they
So
stunk
good.
up the
Giants
joint
won
last
Super Bowl
year,
this year.
where were you,
Ruined his
Darren
life.
Woodson? Where were you? You were on Sports Center. Don't come to me with that nonsense. We couldn't find you when the Cowboys were losing last year. A couple of years ago
I
when
was
they
sitting
were
right
winning.
here with you.
You came out.
11-1. Where are we right
couldn't
now,
find
Matt?
you.
Who's on top of the NFC East right now?
You
Please.
gotta respect the way that Dak Prescott carries himself on the field, off the field, and you do have to give him some
Please.
credit.
Oh, yeah.
They had to
Absolutely.
win.
Celebrity
relationship.
Time
Y'all
out.
want me to buy some flowers?
I know they didn't play the best
Y'all want me
game,
to
but
buy some
Minnesota
flowers?
has the third-ranked defense
you-
going into this game, second in points. It's the second
Okay.
toughest defense they've played other than the Ravens. I know it wasn't the prettiest game, but you got to respect the defensive side of the ball.
We didn't know any of that, Molly. We didn't know any of that, Molly. Of course we didn't know that. We didn't know that, Molly. Oh, no, he's that. You want want us to go buy him some flowers? What do you want me to do, Darren? You want me to arrange for him to have a
I have
pedicure and a
someone else.
manicure?
I have someone else you need to buy
service?
flowers for, though.
Oh, please.
Can I get into that
Go
now?
ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead.
let's
Go
move
ahead.
on.